Welcome back, everyone, to another Coach Blaker podcast number five. I want to actually talk about something that I believe no one actually talks about today, or not talks about today, but just talks about in general, and that is the experience of new players. Of course, I have a quote for you, so I'm just going to read that quote for you. Every day there's going to be a new quote pertaining to the topic that we are talking about. This quote for today is, "Be brave enough to be bad at something new." I'm going to say it again. Be brave enough to be bad at something new. What does that mean? That means that it's okay. When you're new to something, you're going to be bad. You're going to suck, and it's fine. That's the process of learning. That's the process that everybody has to go through when they try something. Unless you're one of that 1% that's just magically good at everything, you're going to need time to mess up to then get better. You miss every shot you don't take. Now, what's not okay is the experience that new players have in League of Legends. You're going to suck. That's true. We already know that League of Legends learning curve is ridiculously steep. You're going to be worse than a lot of players that are already playing. The problem here is that there's a lot of players that are quote unquote new players, but they're smurfing. League of Legends has a pretty bad smurf problem. There's a smurf when it comes down to all the competitive games that you play, but I personally believe that League of Legends probably has one of the biggest smurf issues where everybody just creates a new account and they level it up to then play in ranked. Now, smurfing is fine, in my opinion, when you are doing it to learn something new. But still, the problem remains that you're smurfing in beating players that are new to the game in general. There's no separation. Now, Riot invented something called Smurf Q, and I believe that only actually impacts the players that are playing ranked. I don't think it impacts the players that are new. And that's the problem. If you're new, you're going to have to deal with these smurfs. You're going to be flamed. People are going to be mad at you. What type of experience is that for a new player? Where I play a game that's new and everybody's always mean. Everybody's always giving up. Everybody's always AFKing. Everybody's always just beating me so easily. And I just don't really understand what I'm doing. That is a huge issue in itself. If I'm going to be new at something, why do I have to grit my teeth and bear through it instead of just having a really nice, pleasant experience? Now, the community being toxic, that's something that's hard to fix, and I know. But you can mute them, right? There's tools to mute. There's tools to make it so that you're not interacting with these specific individuals. The issue is there's no tools in place to deal with Smurfs. If they're in your game, it's a wrap. And the worst problem is that if I am, let's say, level 10 and I'm playing with someone that's a higher level than that, well, there's going to be players on their team and your team that are going to be at different skill levels, which means that we're still in a big imbalance. So I'm not saying that I have a specific tool or I have a specific idea to fix the situation. I'm just saying I feel like that should be something that is dealt with. I feel like Riot has just gotten to the point where it's like, we don't expect players to be new anymore at this point. We're just going to focus on the ones that already play the game, and that's the experience that we want to fix. But there's a lot of players that are new that come, that then just stop playing, and then they come back and then stop playing again because, like I said, that new player experience just doesn't feel good. I know when I was new to the game, I had no clue what I was doing. I took Heimerdinger and I got it to level 8. After the game was over, I was like, cool, my Heimerdinger's level 8, let's go. This is back when there wasn't that many champions in general, so I didn't really think too much about what I'm about to tell you. So I queue again, and then I go in and I'm level 1. And I was like, wait a second, I leveled this guy to level 8, why is he not 8? And then I quit playing there. That was my first time playing. And as I said before, I wasn't really aware of the fact that that's how it's supposed to go because there weren't that many characters in general. There was 30 to 40. So I just thought hey, you level these 40 characters up, it's awesome. Then I got older and then I came back to the game. And I know that that's not the way the game is supposed to work. And I do know that I'm supposed to play it a different way. It's a MOBA. It's not an MMO. So I come back to the game and I'm playing my games. And honestly, I didn't have one of those experiences where there was a lot of Smurfs and my new experience play was just ruined. It didn't really feel like that back in the day. And the reason being, I mean, there weren't a lot of players compared to what there are now, and there weren't a lot of people who just wanted to make Smurfs. Like, just why? There's really no reason to make Smurfs, right? There was no such thing as like content creation. I mean, there was, but it was very, very limited. There was no such thing as like Twitch. I mean, there was, but once again, it's very, very limited. You know, it's not like, you know, everybody just did it. As time progressed, now you have so many people streaming. You have so many people making YouTube content, and a lot of people are either really, really stuck on their account, and they're like, I don't want to stream it, or I don't want to make videos on this one, so I'm going to Smurf. B, the queues are too long. I need to Smurf because I'm not going to have any content. I lost my place on letters. C, you're Smurfing to make content that just make no sense, like weird builds or weird strategies and things like that. Or even sometimes it does make sense in its guide videos, but they're Smurfing to do it. And now you're having Smurfs not just from players that just, oh, I want to beat someone bad, but you're having Smurfs to players that I want to beat someone bad. I have, I have Smurfs to players that I want to try a new role, or I want to try a new champ. You have a Smurf that is, I need to make a video because I need to be entertaining. You have a Smurf was, I need to stream my account and I can't because it takes too long. Like, you have all these Smurfs into one bottle, and then that is going to be going to the new players as well, right? And so whether your intentions are bad or not, it's still a poor experience, no matter if it's, I am making a guide video, so I need to level this account, or I am making, you know, very positive stream content, I need to level this account. It doesn't matter. It's still a really poor experience for a player that's new to have to deal with stuff like that. Like I said, I don't have a solution for it. I never said I did, but I'm just saying I want Riot to just pay more attention to that, you know? Also, I feel like there's just really no great way to introduce someone to the game. If you guys ever played Wild Rift's like tutorial system is insane. Like, it is so good that you know how to play League of Legends when you play the game. And I want them to revamp their tutorial as much as Wild Rift has a tutorial of their own, because that, I think, will make the game easier. That, I think, will make the game have a better transition from bots to players. Now, the experience that I had being new, quote unquote, under Wild Rift wasn't the same experience that you would have now. The problem with now is that a lot of players that are playing on these new accounts, their intentions aren't to just play. Their intentions are to, like I just said, to just like beat people, or, you know, like, it doesn't have to be a bad intention, but they have an intention to do something. Whereas in Wild Rift, everybody had to be new, basically, and there's no intention to do anything. We're just playing to just have fun. It is what it is. And so there's a big difference from someone, even if they're Smurfing, to play for fun, because everybody can play for fun on the same level. When we're playing to try, not everybody can try on the same level. So I think that's why Wild Rift, I can't even like say the thing, Wild Rift game has a better new player experience, not only because of the tutorial, but the community within that particular like game is a lot more structured in a sense of non-toxicity, I guess you can say. Now, I haven't played a Wild Rift recently, so that could have changed, but back when I did, that's what I experienced, and it was really solid. It was a really good experience, and I was glad to be able to have that. So I really do hope that Riot does their best to kind of fix that, because they definitely need to. And when we're talking about roles, when we're talking about champs, when we're talking about items, that's kind of something else that I wish they would kind of touch on, because like that is a lot, right? Like, when you're looking to find a champion in League and you're new, you don't know what you're looking for. There's no system to say, hey, you might like this one, you might like that one. And I know part of the game is experiencing and getting better, but the real issue is like there's limited resources to be able to try characters. I don't know. Maybe having practice tool, everybody can get everybody for free. You do it in Clash, why can't you do it in practice tool? What's the difference? What are you losing out on if I can only try it in practice tool? Like, have new players have a chance to play stuff. Then you say, well, you can buy it and then you can refund. Yeah, but that's 3 refunds a year. Well, you don't even get 3 a year. You get 3 refunds, and then you get a +1 every single year. As a new player, or maybe even you can try every single champ in practice mode until you're level 30, until you're like rank ready. And then after that, you should be solid enough to know which champs you want. Like, I don't mean like in normals, but I just mean like in practice tool, your account. If it's pre-30, you can try all the champions, all that you want. And then, boom. Or maybe when you have 20 champions, you can't try anymore in practice tool anymore. I don't know. Just have something like that to where it's like you're not forced to make such a hard choice on what you want because you can't go back on it. Then you have to spend so much time gaining more essence and trying to get boxes to then unlock more characters. Like, that's not a fun thing, especially because there's so many characters. So not only is the community making the game harder for new players, the game's making the games harder for new... I can't even talk right now. It's like I'm too hyped up. Not only is the community of the game making the game harder for new players, but the game itself, when you're playing it, is making it harder for new players because of the Smurfs and whatnot. And then when you're going into champions, it's harder for them too because they don't know what is what. There's too many to really think about and to really focus on. And also, let's have this be on the other side of the coin. If I want to get better, I need to know what these abilities are. I need to know what they look like. Why not give me a tool to then be able to know what it's like? Like, you're making me have to really like painfully play the game to learn everything about the game. You know what I mean? And we're not talking about ranked, like I said before. Like, when you're in ranked, you already know what hell is like, and that's why you're there. But when we're talking about new players, we want to shield them basically from that type of stuff. We want to shield them from having to really grit their teeth to play the game. You just want to be like, hey, I'm playing for fun. It's cool. The only time you actually have fun playing League is when you get to be a solid level. And that's kind of where you're like, okay, I'm decent enough to just kind of enjoy myself. But before that is the grit teeth part. So, you know, have something where you can try champions. Have something where, you know, if make it limited, like I said, make it till you're 30, and then you can't try any champions anymore. You can only try what's in the free rotation. I also want to touch on, as I said, just kind of like the items. Now, they added a new system this season where you're able to have just like random items, and I think that's pretty cool, where the system would tell you like, hey, this item's better for this game, this item's better for this item's better for that. The issue is that still doesn't help, really. You know what I mean? There's just too many items still, and there's not much you can do. The fact that a lot of outside sources have way better... the fact that players have to go to an outside source to be able to learn, to be able to apply things to the actual game is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the fact that you use Blitz, the fact that we have Poro Fest, or the fact that we have Mobalytics and stuff like that. And the thing is, I believe Riot just kind of allows it at this point. Like, I think they've been allowed it. I'm not saying they hated it or anything. I'm just saying, like, I think it got to the point where it's like, that is now our system. We don't want to import any of this crap because that, we could just have that. We could just get away with it, and people use that anyway, so why even integrate that into our system? You know? It's kind of like a lazy way to say that we don't have to deal with it. And you can tell. Because, like I said, there's nothing to really... like that, even that item system, like it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's, if you're a new player, you still don't know what to do. And a lot of the times, I still find myself not even using recommended items. What, the core? That's pretty much it. And then after that, you go to the all items tab and then pick what you need to buy. So it's still not really good for a new player's experience. But I guess it is what it is. It's not like that bad, but I just wish they would have something to kind of touch on that too. I think I pretty much talked about, let me see, I talked about new players and just playing the game in general. I talked about the tutorial system. I talked about the champions. I talked about the items. I feel like I'm missing something, and I can't think about what it is at all. But let's get back to the topic at hand. So, maybe have it to be where... That's hard too. I was gonna say have like new players on an island, but like even then, like what happens if there's not enough players? And that actually brings me to another point where it's like a lot of these Smurfs, I think, are a bigger portion of new players nowadays. So it's like no matter what you do, the Smurfs are kind of gonna bleed into the new players until they get to a point where then you can play with the other players. And that means that either you're going to be in queue forever or you're just going to have to go against Smurfs, buddy. That's a poor ultimatum too. Like, it's a hard thing to fix. I'm not saying it's easy, as I said before, but I'm just saying it just seems like they don't look at it enough. It just seems like they don't really care about that new player base, because that new player base, like, the player base is already pretty much set in stone, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's been how many years? 12? I know we're on season 11, but I think it's been 12-ish. It came out in 2009. So, 12 years deep. How many more new players are you really going to get? You know what I mean? And I think that might be why they don't really touch too much on it. Not too much on that new player experience. But I think people that are returning are considered new players. I feel like if the system's like, hey, you haven't played in a long time, let's do this, and then have them have an easy way for them to get back into the game, that'd be pretty cool too. Speaking of which, new player or old, CoachBlanket.com, book those sessions. Link description below. The discount is going to go away on the 12th. The buy one get one free discount and the duo queue discount is going to go away on the 12th. So make sure you guys use it. I know some of you guys come to me after and ask for the discounts. That's not how it works. You gotta do it before it ends. The 12th is the last day. Book those sessions. Back to the point. So I lost my track. Here I'm thinking I have a pretty decent segue, which it wasn't, but I lost track. I think most of the time when I'm doing these podcasts, I forget, like, half of my body, half of my brain, I guess you could say, is in the video mode, and half of my brain is in the podcast mode. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to remember that I am doing a podcast and just not a video, and I don't really edit it, because you don't really want a podcast that's edited, honestly. I like having kind of that flow of like, hey, we're just chilling, we're just talking. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing all right? Y'all chilling? No, I hope y'all chilling. I hope y'all doing okay. I hope the drive to work is awesome if you guys are driving to work. I hope the drive from work is awesome if you guys are driving from work. I hope everything's going all right with you guys. But yeah, I just really feel like Riot should do their best to kind of focus on those pain points. I know everything can't be fixed, but fix some of it. It just, like I said, seems like their player base is already cemented. Like, very few players are actually new. And I don't have the numbers. I could be wrong. They could probably have a lot of new players every single day, and I had no clue. But I just like the odds of that. The odds of like everybody being new, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I would assume people are playing League, has already been playing League, and there's not many new players out there. So, as I said, what I want to see more or less, if I could just choose, I would say that I would want the tutorial redone. Have it like Wild Rift, because that tutorial is insane. And then have a way for players to play champions and have a limit on how long they can do that. Maybe I have an account made for a week. You can play whatever champ you want in practice tool for a week. Whatever. Just have something for them, because it's pretty insane that there's that many characters and you can't do anything but wait for the free rotation to come around. Especially because sometimes in the free rotation, there's a lot of champs in there. Like, personally, when I look at those free rotations, there's a lot of champs that I don't even want to play. And it's like, well, wish I could try this, but I can't. Like, I don't like that. And then, like, the items or whatever, like, that's whatever. Like, I feel like you'll learn eventually. But I'm just saying that, like, that's not a remedy to, like, not knowing items. You still need to know the items. You still need to know what they do. And you still need to know the core. I wish there was a tutorial for jungle. I feel like that is a hit. That's what I want. I wish there was a tutorial for each role. That would be hot. A tutorial for each role. Pretty much, as many years that has passed by, there's no way that shouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? There's just no way. There's no way that we can't mimic what a role does by now. Like, there should be a tutorial for each role. If it's jungle, all right. Pathing. Pathing is very important, because when you path, you need to blah, 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 blah. I don't know how they would do it. Top. top lane is more or less just like, you know, a solo lane. You get to 1v1 the laner. Sometimes the jungles may come up, but this is a 1v1 lane. You need to look to teleport sometimes because teleporting helps you get, like, it doesn't even have to be complicated. It could be very, very loose. And just have the idea there. That way when you have a top lane, or like top lane only has tanks and bruisers. You don't usually bring other champions there. Like, just to cement in people's minds, like, this is what to be expected when you go into a normal, when you go into a rank. This is what's to be expected. Mid lane is usually used for assassins and AP champions, magic dealing champions. Support is the role that blah blah blah. ADC is supposed to be safe. ADC is supposed to focus on getting their farm because they can get their items, and once they hit their items, they become super strong. Whatever you need to say to let people know that this is pretty much the basics of the role. I shouldn't have to look up stuff to know. I shouldn't have to look at guides to know just the very simple thing about the role. That is something that I think should be implemented like now. That would be so good. That would be so freaking good. Because a lot of players that transition into rank do it unprepared. I myself was unprepared when I went into ranked, and I know a lot of you guys were too. You get there and you're like, I could definitely crap on people. And then you start playing ranked and it's like, I definitely can't crap on people. And there's a lot you're learning from that process. And I understand that. But if we could just kind of all be on the same page before we hop into rank, like a baseline level, I feel like the rank would be a lot better for everybody. This isn't a ranked rant or anything like that. I'm still on the new players, but I'm just saying, like, if they can have that for players transitioning into rank, like, that'd be pretty cool to let them know, little stuff like that. But I would want that taught to me like ASAP. I wouldn't want that just taught to me after I hit level 30. That just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, role guides would be, or role tutorials would be dope. And like I said, they can set that up. Like hands down, they can set that up. It might take a while, and I think that's okay if it does. It is what it is. But they should definitely have role guides for new players. But I pretty much said my piece. Remember, the quote of the day is, what? Be brave enough to be bad at something. That's what the main thing that we want to have out. The problem is with new players is they're not bad at something. They're uninformed about everything. So, is that a word? Uninformed? Is it ill-informed? Ill-informed? Uninformed. I'm about to look that up right now. I think it's ill-informed. Yeah, it's ill-informed. What did I say? Informed? Is that a word? Let me check. Ill-informed isn't one word, it's two, but I guess you say uninformed. Why did I say uninformed? Uninformed. I'm trolling. But ill-informed. That's what I meant to say, not in. That's the issue. We're just ill-informed. We're basically just jumping into a pool, not knowing how to swim, and they're like, good luck, have fun. And then the experience is so crap, and you can't really do anything about it, and you just got to grit your teeth and pull through. And like I said, that just shouldn't be the way that the game is done. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. This has been another Coach Blicker's podcast, number 5. Number 6 will be coming at you soon. I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you for what? Listening to my podcast, because it's not the same as approaching it like a coach. I'm sorry.